See when I sold all the currency I had gained. Wow. Alright. Should we get started? Let's get started. Hey guys, another video here. This is going to be a demonstration of Wander and just my overall thoughts on it. It's going to be a pretty loose one-take guide. As always, I'm going to start by doing a map, or a couple maps actually, a tier 10 dunes with a couple sextants, and then a canyon tier 11 with one sextant on it. And as always, I believe that you should always watch a video before you decide if a build is even really for you, right? Because without watching, like reading guides is useless. So build relies on having Vaal Power Siphon as your main map clear. You can use Barrage and Kinetic Blast as supplementary skills. Barrage is to kill the bosses, and Kinetic Blast is to get the juice going for your Vaal Power Siphon. Also helps with clearing if in certain situations. So I'm rolling Breach on every map. I found that it's very, very profitable. And let me just clear this. I know this makes the video a little bit longer because I have to like sit in the breach, so maybe I won't do Breach on the canyon after this. But as you can see, you spam your Vaal Power Siphon. I am running 2 of them for more smoothness. You don't have to run 2 though. 1 is totally fine for some people, but for me, I want the build to be the actual build and not to be casting Kinetic Blast when the 1 is down, okay? So another breach here, sorry for the delay. Ooh, Volatile, so scary. We just outrun it. Queen of the Forest on this build, just to make it faster. I am a Pathfinder. Ooh, I almost got killed by that one. Haha, playing so badly. Anyways, let me clear this. Basically, the Queen of the Forest has certain synergies with the other items, flasks, etc. in this build, which I'll go over later. Right now, I just want to show you some gameplay. I guess we can like go kill the boss real quick. Bye, Hillock. Bye. Okay, so this is with a +2 Barrage Helm, so your results may vary without that, but there's ways you can get around that, which I'll talk about as well. Okay. So you're running around. You try to get into the middle of the packs. So like, let's say this is clear. You don't want to really like use Vaal Power Siphon right here with this pack. You want to see if there's another pack around and then use it. Well, there weren't any other packs around because I cleared the map. But there's that. I'm going to run one more. I'm going to run a tier 11 shaped canyon. What is this? Minus max, extra damage, whatever. No, I'm not going to run Breach because it takes too long. And then you can see it on maybe a red map as well. Can you explain sextant blocking? Nope, I'm making a YouTube video right now. Why am I even reading chat right now when making this? I'm so dumb. No! It was a reflect! Oh god, bad showcase. Okay. You guys saw nothing. You guys saw nothing there. One moment, please, while I try this red map again. Redo the video, redo it. I'm not gonna redo the video. I think it's important to show weaknesses as well. Alright, so anyways, after that reflect, let me go bum rush the boss real quick. As you can see, it's not bad. Embarrassing. Bye, boss. Okay. Bye, boss. See you later. Hope that made up for it a little bit. Jesus Christ. Alright. So, cleanup is like pretty nice, even on the way back. The build, there's a lot of good things to say about this build, especially in a meta like 3.0 where I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, you know, my Vaal Fireball is gone, my Spark is gone, lots of good builds are gone or nerfed, and I have to say that as a side note for my personal place, look how fast I am. I'm Usain Bolt. Okay, I have to say as a personal preference, both the changes to Harvey League and being able to play this build in its place have been quite enjoyable, and I'm having so much fun. I don't see myself stopping playing this build until I get level 100, which might not be possible based on what you just saw 30 seconds ago, but level 97 Pathfinder. So let's go into the details here. First, I'm going to go over gem links and why. In my wand, I have a pretty standard cast when damage taken setup. I have it linked to the usual 3-5 Immortal Call Warlord's Mark. When I get hit by anything, the Warlord Mark goes off. I get a little bit of endurance charges. I get a little bit of extra leech, which is super nice if your Vinktars isn't on, or if your boots have not procced in the last 4 seconds for the 0.6 leech. So nothing to explain here. And then Immortal Call, you know, a little bit of extra safety against the spikiness. and it makes it, with the endurance charge, it makes it a little bit longer. So simple setup right there. On the helm, I have my kinetic blast setup. I am using a Tempest binding at the time of this video. I think it's pretty affordable. The pieces are about 20 something chaos each, and my kinetic blast is linked to GMP for more coverage and more overlapping of explosions. Pierce support is for just so when you pierce through, you can trigger multiple explosions per pack per projectile. So very nice like throughput and coverage again. And then LE damage with attacks, very large, more multiplier with elemental damage. So no brainer right here, right? So and then over here I have Summon Ice Golem, I have Grace, and I have an Enlighten support. Enlighten 4 isn't necessary. It's only so I can, it's like, it makes the casting of the Kinetic Blast a tiny bit, or sorry, not the Kinetic Blast. It makes the, yeah, it makes the total mana that you have available for your Kinetic Blast and Barrage a little bit larger. But as you can see, if I take it out, it's still not so bad. I still get those 3 casts there. So don't worry if you can't afford this, okay? Grace feeds into Queen of the Forest. I'll talk about these evasion like synergies a little bit later, but Summon Ice Golem accuracy, not so important if you have a headhunter, but every little bit of accuracy adds up. Without headhunter buffs, I'm at 88%. Obviously Vaal Power Siphon has a 100% chance to hit, so, or cannot be evaded, okay? Next in the boots, this is a personal setup of mine, okay? Herald of Ice is linked to Poacher's Mark because if you look at my flasks when I'm mapping, the first 4, these blue flasks, they never run out. You can kill like a few one white pack, and these are back to full. So you just like spam these all day, you don't even notice that they're there. But then if you look at the Vinktars is not reliable a lot of the time, and they remove the leech from it, which is like another issue completely. But Vinktar, you want this to be up as much as possible. Let me show you something here. Vaal Power Siphon, I have 8.7k DPS. It's a pretty well rolled attacks or lightning damage to attacks Vinktars. When I pop this, I'm at 14,000 DPS from 8.7. So just like think about that for a second. Like a 60-something% more multiplier on this flask. So you definitely want to get the juice up as much as possible, especially as a Pathfinder, right? And this is why I also take things like on the tree, like Druidic Rite and things. But we'll talk about that later as well. So Poacher's Mark is to just get the flash charges on the Vinktars up a little bit more. The other stuff doesn't matter too much, right? Onslaught is on here because my Herald of Ice does enough damage so that it reliably procs this all the time. You can look at my buff timer in those maps, and what you'll see is an 8-second buff instead of like a like the smaller buff that you can get right here. If you want to go Graceful Assault, you can get a smaller Onslaught buff. But Onslaught's so important for the speeds, especially since it feeds into the boots. So I'm using 3-step assaults. But let me go over gems first, and then I'll go over items. In the gloves, I'm using Hysteria gloves, and this is where my Barrage setup lives. It's got a damage on full life support because I feel like my leech and my buffs allow me to take advantage of this. If you don't have this, you can even try something like GMP. Average hit damage will be much less, but overall damage will be very high, given that you can hit all your projectiles and you don't miss. And then there's like the Wed, right? Nothing to say there. Once again, a very massive more multiplier if you go an LE wand. LE focus because I don't really care about, you know, shocking, freezing, igniting the balls. I care about like throughput. So this very large more multiplier here. Another option, if you don't want to buy Hysteria gloves, I was searching for double resist Hysterias the other day, or not the other day, like this morning, and double resist like 60 plus, 70 plus with like 50 life. They don't exist right now on PoE trade for some reason. So when like a couple weeks ago, they were very plentiful. So if you can't get this, you have to go maybe Thunder Fist. Very good item. You just lose like some life and resist, I guess. And then so those are my links in the main chest. I have a Vaal Power Siphon and another Vaal Power Siphon. I talked about this a little bit in the map, but it's just for smoothness. When I press one, I want the next one to charge up. It gives me a little bit of like safety in terms of the juice. So I never want to be like, you know, cast, Kinetic Blast, cast, Kinetic Blast. I want Vaal Power Siphon, then maybe some Kinetic Blast thrown in there. with this, I have chain. You can very easily, by watching the VOD, you can see the chains going off and giving you a little bit of extra cleanup. And that's also why I use Herald of Ice. Herald of Ice is so good for the cleanup and the shatters. I don't run 90% avoidance to elemental status on any of my red maps. So with that, Herald of Ice is invaluable. I want to feel like when I press my VPS that it, what's it called? It can actually clear the screen. I'm not like just sitting there doing some kind of like single target spell or my kinetic blast. I want to do that as little as possible. So go with chain. That is, you cannot remove that, okay? Two Vaal power siphons you can switch out. If you're going to switch one out, you put in added lightning 2120 for in replace of another one. But chain is mandatory. Another one, increased crit. So here's what I think about increased crit. A lot of people will go into Path of Building and they'll swap out increased crit with literally any other damage gem, and your Path of Building numbers will be much higher. The reason I forego the more damage in Path of Building for an increased crit is both because, once again, I'm using Herald of Ice, so I want the Herald to go off as much as possible for cleanup, and then also the other damage gems, they're not. You don't need more damage on Vaal Power Siphon. Yesterday, if you remember, I did 10 maps. I forgot to buy this gem. So I was running a 5-link for a long time until someone reminded me that I didn't have a 6-link. And so when I put it in, I didn't notice anything. Okay, I literally noticed nothing. So you don't need more damage on Vaal Power Siphon to clear whites, blues. You might have a little issue on rares sometimes when you're starting out the build, but still. So don't worry too much about that. Damage on full life support makes the colors a little bit iffy. If you can't go the colors, you might want to try 2-2-2 or 3 blue, 2 green, 1 red. Right? You can put in like an added cold if you're really struggling for chromatics. This took me to get these colors. I've used on this queen a little over 3,000 chromatics in total, but I've gotten 5 off colors twice in over 3,000 chrome, so it's not too bad. Those are the links. Let's go to the items here. Ellie Wand, I think, is the way to go. I saw a 400 Fizz DPS wand on the market, and I plugged it into Path of Building, and it was hot garbage. The way you have to like redo your skill tree a tiny bit, the way you have to like, the way you have to build a Fizz wand is hot garbage. That wand it gets outclassed by like a 280 elemental DPS wand, and it'll cost you. You don't have to like mirror that guy's wand and stuff. So go Ellie wand for the smoothness of like the ramping up to the build will be very smooth. So nothing to see there. The most important things on the wand are you want a high lightning damage roll, okay? And the other rolls are just secondary, but you need crit. Crit is so important because, like, I mean, the base chance of this wand is pretty high, and you're an attack build, so definitely get the crit on there. Multi-mod is fine. I don't think you're gonna find an already crit chance roll already on the wand. Second thing, attack speed. Attack speed, if you're a cheapo and you can't afford stuff, it's no big deal. You can search for high DPS wands that do not have an attack speed roll. This is only for like the kinetic blast and a little bit for the barrage, but most of the time for clearing maps. And once again, this is only a map clearing character the way I've built it. Okay, don't try to like do bosses and stuff with this variation. The attack speed doesn't affect Vaal Power Siphon. You want single hit. Or in POB you want just the average hit damage for Vaal Power Siphon, so you can drop attack speed if you want. Next, let's go over the helm. So Tempest Binding, this turns whatever you socket in here into a pseudo 6-link, and the reason that I've put my kinetic blast in here instead of my what's it called, barrage is because when I start a map, I want my first cast to be frenzy charges, right? Generation. So I go on a map, I cast my kinetic blast, boom, frenzy charges, very easy. If I have it on my barrage, it's gonna be a little bit like more iffy, right? And so I don't like that at all. I mean, yeah, I do have Poacher's Mark here, but what if you don't have Poacher's Mark? What if you like Assassin's Mark? So that's another thing there. But play around with these setups. You might like one better than the other, but the Hysteria gives like so much damage. So anyways, it's a very good item because it gives you, it has a high life roll. It has 45 all, or 45 total res, and when you use uniques like I do, it gets a little bit iffy with the res until you're fully geared up. So that's a really nice benefit. The Harbinger of the Storm, let me take him off real quick because his like little shock thingy is so loud. The Harbinger of the Storms, what he does is he follows you around and he pro-lifts a chill and a shock on up to 5 enemies. So not that big a deal, but I mean, why not have him out, right? He's immortal, so it doesn't hurt to have him out. I guess sometimes it could be kind of nice. Amulet, nothing to see here. Since this is only a mapping build, you want the highest quantity Biscos that you can get. I was lucky enough to Vaal this one maybe like a few hours ago, and I got a +1 max res. So I dropped a 100 quant for this one for some extra safeties, but as you saw in that second map, it didn't save me from getting booty blasted. So this is already a solved problem. You don't need to worry about the amulet slot. The shield. Ooh, what can I say about the shield here? Decent life roll, a very high single res roll, and the... Alright, let's talk about the shield. 1 to 10 lightning damage for each shocked enemy you've killed recently. You're a crit based build. You are a mostly lightning based build. If I hover over here, you can take a look at the splits between the elements. And then if I pop my Vinktars real quick, you can take a look at the elements, and it becomes pretty apparent that almost any monster you kill, like blue, yellow, sometimes even uniques with the changes to elements, it's unbelievably easy to shock enemies. You're going to get this out of every enemy you kill. And let me give you an example. A level 21 Wrath is about, what, 250 lightning damage, right? Let's just say it's like 25 to 250 lightning damage. That is worth 25 mobs killed on a map. So basically, 1 Kinetic Blast, 1 Vaal Power Siphon will give you 2 to 3, sometimes 2 to 3 Wrath Auras, which I'm not running, by the way. So you can do the math and think about, like, if I'm going faster, I'm killing monsters faster, I'm getting more juicy Esh stacks. And when you stack up Esh, it's just the most unbelievable thing for fast clear builds. Okay, so I'll stop talking about this. You're immune to shock, so like, doesn't matter about the shock stuff. Anyways, let's talk about rings. So rings, if you want like the most deeps, you're gonna want like Wed, you're gonna want crafted lightning. Those two things add a whole lot. Opal rings are the go-to since you don't really need the crit when you have a diamond flask from a diamond ring. Right, nothing to see here. Get yourself some life on them. Get yourself the Wed roll, and if you want more damages, get yourself that juicy added lightning. I don't have it on this ring because I don't really care about spending like 30 exalts to get one with the resist I need, but like things like this will add a lot of damage. So it's up to you if you want to focus on resist filling or life or more damages on your rings. The boots, 3-step assaults are the fastest. If you want to go fast, a 3-step assault will outclass a Edzubi's step, which has 700 plus evasion, I believe. And because, although you lose 5% flat off the movement speed, 100% evasion rating while you have onslaught, and you always have onslaught from the gem here. Once again, I don't run 90% elemental status avoidance maps on reds. You're gonna have 100% increased evasion, and it just adds so much speed. And I'll just show you real quick, actually, the defenses. I'm at 23.5. If I pop everything, I'm at 81,000, so 314. That's not counting onslaught. Onslaught's another 20%, and then another 100% evasion on onslaught. I go to like, I think 370 something. So very, very nice boots here. But if you need to shore up your resist, or you want maybe a little bit more life or a different feel, don't use these boots. So this is just for speed, and once again, the boots tie into the shield, which ties into the chest. Queen of the Forest, the more evasion you have, the faster you run. The faster you run, the faster you generate Esh stacks. The faster you generate Esh stacks, the more probable it is that you literally one-shot the screen with Vaal Power Siphon. the more you one-shot the screen of Vaal Power Siphon, the less you need to use Kinetic Blast and Barrage on things. So you get to move to the next pack, which will stack your Eshes even more, which will allow you to, you know, you get the point. Everything stacks into each other, which is so crazy. And then same with, like, I mean, Headhunter is a no-brainer. Headhunter benefits attack-based projectile builds the most. So you steal, like, +2 projectiles, you steal, like, added damages, you steal the 2 speed auras, you steal the 2 crit auras, and it makes your build really, really, it fills in all the other gaps that your build is lacking. So, but if you can't afford a Headhunter, I was using I would use a rare wed belt with maybe one of the flask rolls on there. Gloves, I already talked about this, but that added fire is so nice for barrage, and it shores up my resist and gives me life. So this is pretty simple. You can try crafting your hysteria, but one thing I really love about this build is that like literally everything feeds into every other piece of gear. And when you're willing to like play the game a long time and you're willing to invest, it makes the build feel excellent. Let's talk about flasks. Diamond Flask of Staunching, you know, no-brainer for the crit-based builds. Use a Diamond Flask, very high uptime, so I just put the Staunching on there. Stibnite Flask of Warding, so this gives 100% increased evasion rating, and it removes curses. Curses can be removed by Warding Flask now, so OP on like any kind of curse map. If you're a Pathfinder, you get, the best way to think about this is, as a Pathfinder, you get close to 50% multiplied by the number on the flasks. Not on this, obviously, but like on the evasion, on like the lightning damage you see here, on the max resist, on the lightning resist. All of it gets multiplied by Pathfinder's bonuses. So you want some decent flasks. So that evasion is nice. This flask, you know, the movement speed is very nice. This is like, you can't change this. Alchemist Jade Flask of Reflexes for even more evasion, multiplied by the Pathfinder bonuses, becomes pretty crazy in terms of speed. And then the last one is a Vinctar for your leech. You have to have this, and then that damage, once again, is like a 60+% more multiplier, so you cannot get rid of this. The one swap that you can do is right here. If you want, you can swap out this Alchemist Stibnite Flask of Warding for a Dying Sun. If your damage is bad on bosses, if you like, you can swap it out for if your resists are like super bad, you can swap it out for a, what's it called? What's like the 3-colored flask? The Pokemon Flask. You can swap it out for that, given that you have a Vinctars. So that's what you can swap out. I've chosen, because once you get the good gear, you want speed over all else, once again, to feed into the Eshes Mirror. So you want the speediness from this. Without this, I lose like 40+% move speed, which is just, it feels garbage after a while. That's the basic gearing here. I want to talk about the skill tree a little bit. For Pathfinder, I went here first, Master Alchemist, then I went Veteran Bowyer, then I went Nature's Adrenaline for move speed. You guys know how this works. Like, it doesn't even matter what order you take it in, you're going to get it all eventually. Skill tree, I chose to go, it's a pretty standard skill tree. I chose to go up here, and I think I went like this first. Wait, no, I didn't. I leveled as Abras, I just respec. Okay, if you were leveling this, what I would do is I would zoom up here to get life first, get a little bit of life here, maybe go here, and then lastly go down here. Okay, this is the last part. Nothing to see here. I got some wed on the tree. I got point blank because you know, barrage is very OP, and I only really need the damages on bosses, so I took this. You don't have to take this though. If your damage is garbage, you don't need to take this. Jewels, I use 1 Chill of Corruption. Where is it? Well, that's my sack. I use 1 Perfect Sack Harvest and 1 Chill of Corruption. You don't need the Sack Harvest. I've played without this, and it feels okay, but for quality of life, because I don't need more damage, I run these two for smoothness. And then Druidic Rite for flasks. You don't need to take this if you don't want. You don't need to take this Frenzy if you don't want. I took it because of the 4% increased evasion per frenzies, and I have 4 of them. And I might take this later, but that's questionable. Vaal Pact, get that for obvious reasons. And then the other jewels, you can just get whatever you want. Life, resist. I needed the resist to shore myself up. And then there's another jewel down here for just some damages. And other than that, skill tree is pretty basic. You can play around with other things if you want. If you want to go inspired learning, if you can't afford a headhunter right now, you take this cluster right here. Very good for inspired learning. right here. You might have to drop some other stuff, but definitely worth it. Other than that, what else is there to talk about? Not much. You might be wondering about this node. Some people wonder about Tempest Blast, because it's like my fizz damage is so low on here, but you have to remember I have a headhunter. So this node actually isn't so bad. We'll just do maybe another map here. What's this one? Monster Life? Okay, let's just do a Monster Life one. And we'll end the video there, I guess. Is there anything else I didn't talk about? Playstyle? Not really. You just go in here, try to shoot your Vaal Power Siphon in between packs. Bum rush. Oh, Canyon is like a really nice map for this because you can just bum rush the boss like so. Here, let me just do that. Run up the middle, and then you can do cleanup later. But oh, look at this! I'm engorged. Bye, boss. Bye. So that's the power of Esh right there. That's not like really my gear. Your gear is going to get dwarfed by the amount of power that Esh gives you. Pretty crazy. I'm going to skip that guy for now so I can end the video real quick. Whoa, desync. Hello? Hello? What was that? Oh, I have Soul Eater, don't I? That's why I'm not getting the stacks of my Vaal Power Siphon. So, that's about it. That's the video. /DND is now off. Let me turn back on my browser.